Hi guys, it's Grace with Grace Gets Gastric, and I am here today for a chatty get ready with me video. So I just filmed a video with this look, putting on my makeup and really just talking as I did so about my upcoming plastic surgery and really just all of the fears I have surrounding it. So I've got a lot of thoughts. I've been definitely in my feels lately about the surgery, and so I thought I would share it all with you guys just so you know what's going on in my head right now. So I needed to put some makeup on for the day, and I figured that'd be a good opportunity for me to just sit down, put on some makeup, and talk to you all about the surgery that I have coming up and kind of my feels and fears surrounding it. So if that sounds like something you are interested in watching, go ahead and stick around. It is a little bit of a longer video. Apologies, but I had a lot to say. Anyways, thank you guys for being here, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so you guys are going to see me at a slightly different angle today because I have my mirror like right here. So I'll probably like kind of go back and forth to make sure that I can see what I'm doing because I do not have like a fancy beauty setup. But first I'm going to put on some just chapstick. It is tinted because, you know, why not? I'm going to plan to put everything I use on my face down below if you're interested. I know a lot of you probably aren't, but if you are, I'll try to put it all down below. I don't necessarily talk about everything as I do it because, you know. But first I will say I'm using this Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer because it was so expensive, and it was, don't get it. Like, you get the small one if you want to try it, which is like $20, but this was $50, and it was just, it's not worth it. I knew it at the time. It was one of those stupid purchases I let myself do that I shouldn't have, but anyways. So as of filming, I don't know when this is gonna go up because these videos always take a while to edit, but as of filming this, my plastics are about a week and a half away, and you know, I'm very excited. You know, I'm very, very excited, but I cannot lie, I am also freaking out a little bit. And I don't know, I feel like I almost feel like I can't really talk to anyone about it because I also know that, you know, I have obviously friends and family who are very excited for me, and, you know, everyone's like, oh, are you nervous, you know, blah, 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 but I also feel like to a certain extent, they're nervous for me too, right? Like, these are my loved ones, they care about me, they love me, and surgery is a big deal, and, you know, it's arguably elective surgery, right? And they, you know, they all think that I'm beautiful the way I am, blah, 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 blah. So, like, I'm sure most of them, they are happy for me to get the surgery because they know how much it means to me. But I am sure that they would be equally happy for me to not have it and not have this risk. So, talking about telling them, you know, how scared I am, you know, I don't want it to freak them out. And especially because, like, my fears aren't all or even mostly about what you would think, the actual surgery. So I guess we'll kind of just like go through it. The first thing that I am scared about, and it's one of the things that I'm like the most scared about, and it's not even scared, I'm the most, I don't know, scared feels like the wrong word. Basically, I am really worried that something will happen and the surgery will not go through. I'm putting on eye primer right now. So it's not even like a fear in terms of the surgery itself. I mean, it's a fear that something will happen that will cause the surgery to have to be canceled, or it won't happen, or what have you. You know, like, we had like a worry about snow. It was like pathetic here, but, you know, I'm like, okay, well, what if there's like a freak snowstorm before I am supposed to fly out and, like, I can't get down there? Or what if I get down there and there's some issue with my labs or like my EKG or whatever they do, you know, and they're like, okay, it's not safe to do the surgery. Or I get down there and they, you know, I go under and they open me, you know, they're about to open me up, or they open me up and like something happens on the monitor, you know, like my heart doesn't react well, whatever. And they're like, we can't finish, or we can't do the surgery because it's not safe, which are things that have all happened because I'm in the surgical group, right? Where there's two groups. There's the Galvez group, and I'll link it below for people who are like interested or considering. And then there's also a group specifically for the girls that are going in January so that we can kind of connect and talk about things as they happen and beforehand. And one of the girls recently, like last week or something, got there. She has a she had a pre-existing heart condition, and she gets there, and there were some issues with her work or whatever, and they said, okay, we have to limit what we can do. So she wanted to get a certain amount of things done, and they were like, we can't do all of them, it's not safe. So she was disappointed, but she got it. And then they open her up, and something happens on the monitors, and they end up having to cancel the whole surgery. I don't even know if they opened her up. I think they just put her under. And so she wakes up basically realizing that nothing happened, you know? And I was just like, that would be devastating to go all the way down there. And like, again, she had a pre-existing condition. Like, she is obviously in a slightly different position than I am, but just the thought that that could happen just terrifies me a little bit, you know, just because like I want this so badly, and I've wanted it for so long. You know, it's like I've said before, I knew I wanted this before I even got weight loss surgery. I knew that plastics was going to have to be a thing that I had in order to get my body to a place where I felt like happy and confident, like could see the work I made. So yeah, I would say right now, my biggest fear is that it doesn't happen, or like something, you know, or, you know, like I get sick and we have to cancel or reschedule or what have you. Basically, I'm just like, and I think partially too, there's this added pressure because I have been talking about it so publicly, right, on Instagram and Facebook, not Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, just announcing it to all of you guys, right, like all of my weight loss friends. And it's not at all like you guys are putting any pressure on me, but I feel like there is an added element of, if it gets canceled, it weirdly feels like I would be letting you guys down too. And I know, like, y'all would understand, it's not like anything like that, but you know, I am excited to talk about this surgery and talk about my experience and share that, because I know that that is something that is not super available to all of us, right? Like, and plastics after weight loss is like a huge thing that a lot of us either know from the start that we're gonna want, or we think we may want, and so I'm excited to document my experience. I don't know of anyone who's gone to my particular surgeon who has documented their experience on YouTube, so I'm like excited to do that. And so even though, again, none of you are putting any kind of pressure on me, it does sort of feel like I'd be letting you all down too. And again, like, you don't have to tell me that you'd be fine with it. I know that intellectually, but yeah, I don't know. It does add an element that I don't think I had quite realized. And you know, mostly I would be disappointed for myself, not for you guys, but a little bit for you guys. So yeah, I think the worry about it getting canceled is my biggest fear, especially because I'm going down there. It's not like my surgeon's local. You know, it's like a flights and hotel. I've paid this money already. Yeah, God. And just, you know, like, it's been, I really like this. This is a new foundation that I'm trying out. Quick pause. So my favorite drugstore foundations are the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir, which they no longer make, and the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, which I've realized since getting it that has quite a lot of denatured alcohol, which is not great for your skin. So I've been looking for a new one, and I saw recommended as a similar is this NYX Born to Glow. This is the first time I'm trying it, and so far I'm really enjoying it, but we'll see how it goes. Sorry, back to our chat. So like I said, biggest fear is just, yeah, something. It's been such a lead up, right? I scheduled these. I knew I wanted them from the beginning, right? And then I scheduled it 5 months ago. So it's been a quite the process, quite the wait, and you know, it's been built up, and I've, you know, you get worked up, it's a stressful kind of situation, and so the thought of having gone through all of this preparation, all this stress for nothing, yeah, it feels a little devastating. So I'm just, that's my biggest fear. Next, I mean, we've got the more classic fear of something happening on the table and basically not waking up, right? And that is, I've had that with every surgery I've had. I've had like 1.5 surgeries so far. I guess like one major surgery, which would be my VSG, and then I've had like 2, I wouldn't even necessarily call them surgeries. They were ones where I was like sedated. One of which was like the esophagus. The whatever that test was I had to do before I got my VSG to make sure that I didn't have any stomach issues. So there's that. It's just, yeah, the fear of not waking up. And I would not be getting this done if I thought that that was a likely outcome, but it is inevitable to worry about that. You know, I think if you're not low key a little bit concerned about that, to me, that's a little weird. And again, like, I trust my surgeon. I would not be going there if I didn't. He's based in an actual hospital, so if something does go wrong, he has the facilities to take care of it. I could get a blood transfusion, I could go. But he's never had a death on the table. He's never had to use the ICU for his patients. So, you know, I feel confident. And I've seen him, like, so he stories if you give him permission on Instagram and Snapchat. And like I said, for the girl whose surgery was canceled, he was storying. He was like, okay, you know, we've got a weight loss patient. He tells you what he's about to do, and then he shows you. And then he came on and he was like, yeah, actually, we're not going to show you that because there was something on the monitor. And I've seen him do that a few times. And, you know, that does give me even more confidence, just knowing and seeing him pay attention to that and be like, okay, I am looking. I am not just going to give you this surgery if there's anything, you know, because it's his stats too. He doesn't want to have a death on his conscience. So death. I would say in the past few years, you know, especially like the decision to get weight loss surgery, I have certainly become more aware of my own mortality, if you will. Trying to come to terms with it. It's not a fun nor easy process, in my opinion. And you know, like any day could be your last. And so that's part of, you know, like I'm ready to live life without this skin. You know, and I could, not to be morbid, but it's like you could get hit by a bus at any moment. So yeah, that is obviously a fear. It is not a significant one of mine. But I'd be lying if I said I hadn't, you know, contemplated it. The other related to that is just complications, right? It's hard not to worry about complications after surgery. You know, they happen, and they are not necessarily common, I would not say, but I've followed people on here who have had plastic surgery after massive weight loss who've had complications, and I have followed far more people who've had no complications. And I will say, I think part of it is also the fact, you know, like my surgeon is not local. It is medical tourism. And while they do have like a responsive aftercare, you know, if something were to really happen that like really freaked me out or whatever, I would need to take care of that here. And I also, you know, I know that not all insurances will cover complications after surgeries that happen out of the country. So there is always the chance, if there is a complication, one, you know, you could die. So again, death. But also, I might have to pay out of pocket for that. which would suck. But the cost is not the only reason I'm going to Mexico. It is certainly a factor, but it is not the only factor, or even I would say the most significant factor. And so it's not like I'm only going to Mexico to save the money, though obviously that is part of it. So while I don't want to pay thousands of dollars in medical fees, if that ends up being an issue, I would be able to. You know, like I have a decent amount of savings. I have a decent job. I have parents that would be willing to lend me the money if it became a necessity. And so that would be what it is. Obviously, like, it's not something I want, but that is always a worry. But okay, I'm gonna pause for one moment and do my brows off camera because I can't talk and do my brows at the same time. So one moment. All right, brows on. I think I was kind of debating what I want to do. I think I'm just gonna do like a classic sort of cat smoky eye with this Jaclyn Hill palette. But where were we? We were talking about fears and complications. That's obviously one. But again, it's kind of one that I can't let myself think too much about. Same thing with like the whole death possibility, just because at a certain point, there's not much you can really do about it. So just gotta have faith. But I'd say one of the next kind of biggest fears I have is really not being satisfied with my results is kind of what it would come down to. You know, like I'm paying quite a decent amount of money for this surgery. I am undergoing like a fairly it's traumatic on the body. What happens if I don't like the results or if I'm unhappy with them? And again, I do not feel like that is a likelihood. If I did, I would not be going with this surgeon. That is why I chose this surgeon, because I feel like he is going to give me results that I'm happy with. And that is clearly something that is important. It's one of those things where I'm worried that for all that I am telling myself, and I am quite ardently telling myself that I do not have unrealistic expectations. And I think that I don't think I'm lying to myself necessarily, not purposefully. But it is hard to be able to know what my results are going to look like, right? I don't know yet. I won't know. And, I'm getting a set of procedures that I feel are a good fit for like what I want done to what I want fixed, I guess, what I want corrected. But there are certainly all kinds of problem areas that I have. And while these surgeries will correct quite a few of them, they're not going to correct everything. And I don't yet know how that's going to play together. And, and what is it going to look? Are there going to be parts of my body that the sagging is almost more noticeable now that the loose skin in other areas is gone? What will my scarring look like? And again, I'm not super concerned about scars. I would rather have scars than loose skin, but I say that having no scars. I have like very tiny scars from my my VSG, right? Because it was done laparoscopically, but also there's so much loose skin on my belly. It's like you're not seeing the tiny little scars, you're seeing the big loose skin belly. So the scars, when I have no more loose skin in those areas, are obviously going to be kind of what you see, right? They are going to be the new focal point. And I've never had scarring to other than my VSG. And again, that they're so small, but I don't really have a barometer on how my body scars and how my body heals from scarring. So I don't yet really know what it's going to look like. And it's easy for me to say I'd rather have scars than loose skin. And I'm sure that that will continue to be the case. But I'd rather have loose skin than fat. But the loose skin still bothers me, you know? So I would rather have scars than loose skin, but the scars may still bother me. Which I know is the price you pay. Like, there's just not really any way around that. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be a thing that I have to deal with, you know? And yeah, you know, what if my form doesn't quite look the way I am envisioning it? You know, like I said, I do have confidence in my surgeon. So I do feel confident that I will like the results. But part of my fear is, oops, wrong one. What if it's not enough? Like, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I may or may not be getting my arms done. Part of me kind of thinks it's likely not going to happen. I mean, it's not included on the quote. So I'm kind of going in, it's weird, I'm going in both with and without the assumption. I'm going in with the assumption that I'm getting my arms done because if I do get them done, it is going to make my recovery much more difficult. And so in terms of preparation, I am trying to prepare as if I'm having my arms done, just so that I'm over-prepared, not under-prepared. But in terms of the, my actual, like, kind of mental, this is, you know, prepare for what you're going to have done, I'm mentally preparing myself to not have them done. And I've always said that my arms are one of the things that bother me the least. My arms and my legs, they do bother me a little bit, but if I could never have them done, I think I would be fine. Though, my arms have begun to bother me a little bit more lately. And I don't know if it's because the loose skin is getting worse as I put on muscle and lose weight. So I don't know if that's part of it. I would imagine a little bit. I would also imagine the fact that I am closer and closer to my other plastics, and just realizing, okay, I'm going to have all this done, but then I'll still have my arms, and my arms are quite visible, right? Which is why I think that, you know, they would bother me slightly more than my legs, because they're just not that visible. And then, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I do think that if I don't get my arms done now, I will likely get them done in the future. Probably next year, just because I don't know that I can take off twice in 1 year for plastics. Partially because I'm looking for a new job once I'm done. But yeah, I feel fairly confident in that I am going to eventually want my arms done. I don't know if I'm going to eventually want my thighs done or not, but I've not even had the plastics yet, and I can see how that might become more and more attractive. Like, my legs have never bothered me, but once I go through plastics, if I see how it feels, if it doesn't feel insurmountable in terms of recovery, if I see, you know, the results, how much better I'm fitting into things, and all of that, yeah, maybe it will make it more attractive to have my thighs done. But I think I've talked about this before on here. I am more critical of my body now after the weight loss than I ever was at 350 pounds. And I think a lot of that is focusing so much on weight loss, on fitness, nutrition, on what my body looks like. You have to kind of be obsessed with it in the first, you know, while you're trying to lose weight. Like, if you want to be successful, you kind of have to be obsessed, in my opinion. And by becoming obsessed, like, you focus in on it. You zoom in on really what you look like. You notice more those imperfections. And in a lot of ways, like, I am more critical of myself than I ever was when I was bigger. And maybe it was just like, you know, before it was just like, I'm big, you know, like that is what it is. And now I'm not obese, you know, like I'm definitely, I think I will always be, just because my height and my body structure, I'm certainly not delicate, but I am a normal looking, I hate the word normal. I'm in straight sizes is a great way of putting it. I can fit into non-plus size. And so to me, that is, I don't like using the word normal because it kind of implies that the bigger bodies are abnormal, and it is certainly not the case in the United States. But I digress. I now fit into straight size clothing. And yeah, I notice all of the ways in which my body does not look the way that I think it should at this weight. And, you know, and I've struggled a lot with that and like kind of the concept of self-love, because I do think that people are deserving of love and respect at any size. And I hate that I can't seem to bring myself to love my stomach. You know, I really have been trying. I've been working on it. And in some ways, I mean, I love my body and I love everything that it's done and what it's done for me and what it can do. But the stomach, I struggle with it. I struggle with it a lot, and more than I wish I did, you know? But I can't seem to get past it. And, you know, part of me worries that I am depending over much on plastics. Like, it was like that thing where everyone warned you, you know, losing the weight is not going to make you suddenly happy. If you're unhappy beforehand, like it can help, certainly, but don't expect it to be a magic pill that will make your life exactly how you want it to be. And I went into plastic. I mean, I went into weight loss surgery knowing that. I know I'm going into plastics knowing that. But sometimes knowing that in your brain and feeling that in your heart are two different things. And so I'm worried to a small extent that perhaps I am going to be disappointed in plastics, not even necessarily in terms of results, but that it hasn't fixed me. And part of that is, I've mentioned before, I kind of would like to start dating. And part of the reason why I have not is my stomach and my loose skin, and just feeling kind of awkward to bring it up. Kind of feeling like it's false advertising because I do not look outside of clothing the way I do in clothing, and kind of just not wanting to deal with that. But I do think to a certain extent I am using that as an excuse to not put myself in a position that makes me feel vulnerable. So I guess part of me, just like losing weight, forced me to confront some things about myself in terms of I was using my weight as a barrier for the world, right? I use it as an excuse to not do things and not put myself out there, and kind of being like, well, I can't do this because I'm fat, or, you know, people won't like me anyways, you know, all this stuff. I used it as an excuse. And now I'm using the skin as an excuse. And I think I'm a little scared about what I will find when the skin is gone. Who will I be? Who am I when I no longer have that that holding me back, that reason that I can fall back on to when I no longer have an excuse, you know? So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about that. Unlike bariatric surgery, not only is the surgery itself more traumatic in terms of just what you're getting done, but it's also more immediate. You wake up and the skin is gone. And with weight loss surgery, it's like you wake up and you might feel like shit, but like you don't look any different. You know, like you know that this amazing life-changing thing has just been done to you, and your life has changed, but physically you don't yet look different. And it takes a while, and it is weird because it's obviously like an accelerated process if you compared to if you were to lose weight without using surgery. Generally speaking, you will have much faster weight loss, generally speaking. But it is still gradual. You know, it feels gradual when you're living it, right? Like it's never fast enough for us. It was never fast enough for me, certainly. But you kind of have time to really get used to it. And that is just not the case with plastics. I mean, you have swelling, obviously, like you'll be in a binder, so to a certain extent, obviously, you won't have immediate results. Like it's going to take some time for your final results to come in. But generally speaking, you know, it's like you wake up and the skin is gone. And I know it's going to be a mindfuck is basically what it comes down to. I have been overweight, obese, really, my entire adult life. Most of my childhood, all of the childhood that I can remember, I was at least overweight. You know, looking back at photos, I don't think I was as big as I remember being, but it was definitely always big, and it felt like I was obese. But I digress. I have never had a stomach that didn't hang. I've never had a stomach that when I sit down, it doesn't touch my thighs. To the point where I didn't realize that was like a thing that other people didn't necessarily have, you know, like I didn't realize not everyone had that it wasn't quote unquote normal. And that's just such a mindfuck for me to imagine it. You know, people ask me like, are you excited? Obviously, but like my therapist back when I was still seeing her would ask me like, what do you look like? What do you imagine yourself? What do you imagine life for yourself like after plastics? And it was just like, I cannot fathom it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. But like, it is all still very abstract to me because I've just never had it. I can't picture my body without this skin. I picture it and I look like a stick figure. I mean, not in a way like I just feel like my head looks massive because I'm just like, I can't imagine my head looking proportionate without the loose skin. But I know that that's silly. But that's just how I feel because how I don't know. And so I can't imagine like dressing this body that won't have a hanging stomach. You know, it's like I can't ever imagine wearing a bikini in public ever. But like, will I be one of those people? I don't know, because I just, it's, yeah, and like, how will that change me? And I've seen people who've had plastics on here who have gone through a bit of a phase, and I think that generally speaking, with my weight loss, I haven't gone through any significant like feeling myself, selfish phases. I mean, obviously phases where like I feel good about myself, but definitely not any of that kind of like common weight loss surgery, you know, quote unquote selfishness. But I know that that can often happen after plastics, and I don't know. I don't know who I'm gonna be. I worry about relating to the people around me and if it's going to change me. And I think in some ways, I mean, it has to change me. Like, there's no way you can undergo a process like this and not be changed, but change is scary, and I don't know how that's going to be, and I don't know how people around me will react to it. I know I'm worried about my sister. She struggled a little bit when I was losing the weight, and then I've really maintained for about a year now, and I think once I stopped changing, my sister also struggles with change. And so when my body stopped changing significantly, it has certainly changed in the past year, but I was no longer rapidly, every time she saw me, looking different. And it really evened out for her. But this is going to be a big change. And part of her thing is, you know, turning into one of those, turning shallow, you know, like a kind of person who is overly obsessed with looks. And that's not someone I want to be, and it's not someone I don't think I am. But she struggled when I got my lip filler, thinking that I was, I don't know, becoming different. And I was like, you know, I can have lip filler and still be the same person. And so I think, you know, if I get fake boobs, and that's a worry, just how I will react and how others around me will react to the weight loss. Not the weight loss, to the new body, this. And just figuring out who I am. Yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of kind of stuff on hold in terms of, I don't know what this next year will bring. I've really hesitated on having too many plans, which is weird because, I mean, plastics is at the beginning of the year, and it's not like I won't be able to do stuff. You know, I'm going to heal in a few months, and that's a whole year left. But I just think, it's such a question mark because I just don't know. I don't know what I'm going to look like. I don't know what my capabilities are. And I, to an extent, don't know who I'm going to be on the other side of this. Which sounds maybe a little bit dramatic, but that's how I'm feeling. I just don't know who I am yet on the other side of this. And it feels like until I kind of get there, how I can't really plan for things. I can't really know what my life will be, what my plans will be, what will happen until I get to the other side of this and figure out who I am again, all over again. Yay. I'm also, and like we kind of skipped right past and like went to the existential after issues, which are quite intense and there. But I'm also quite nervous about just generally the recovery. It's gonna be rough, and I am a total baby when it comes to pain. I do not handle pain well. And everyone is like, oh, there's no pain with Dr. Galvez, and it's amazing how pain-free you are, blah, 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 blah. I am not going into this with the expectation of no pain, because I feel like that is only setting you up for failure. If you feel pain, then you're just suddenly super disappointed and devastated. So I'm going into this expecting some pain. Now, fingers crossed, there won't be any pain, or there'll be minimal pain. I mean, there's going to be pain. Like, there's no way I'm not getting some pain with this, you know? But fingers crossed it is not too much. Like, what is too much? But I have since, eyeliner down. Okay. So, since 2 months VSG, after my VSG, I have worked out consistently at the gym. Like 2 to 7 days a week, I have been at the gym, which is frankly amazing. Like, how fantastical is it just how much my life has changed that, you know, I'm at the gym more days than not. But working out has become part of just who I am, right? Like, I'm a person who works out. That's pretty fucking cool. I'm worried about not being able to work out. Which, again, how cool is that? That literally one of my biggest worries about surgery is what it will mean for me to not work out anymore. Like, who would have ever suspected that of me? But I'm pretty worried about it. In basically about 2 years, this will be the longest I've ever not gone to the gym. The longest I've gone without getting quite a significant amount of steps in a day. And mentally, I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to not let it take me back to the person that I was. I'm worried that it's not like I've never tried to work out before in my life, right? You know, I have gone through, like most of us in our lifetimes as fat people, we've gone through periods where we have religiously used the gym, right? So I've gone through periods where I've used the gym regularly, but it has never lasted. Inevitably, something will happen. I'll go on vacation, or I'll have like a really busy week at work or at school. Something that throws off my routine. And then I never get back to it. Never again am able to go, you know, get that consistency back. And even though, like, this is going to be obviously, like, the reason why I'm not using the gym is for a specific reason of, like, I have to heal, right? It's not because I'm being lazy or blowing it off. It's because I cannot go to the gym. But I am worried that that is going to be very difficult for me to differentiate that from all the times when I didn't use the gym because I just like gave up. You know, I'm worried that I will struggle. Mostly it's just like I'm gonna feel like I'm that girl again where fitness didn't matter or wasn't part of my life. And you know, like, I'm gonna be worried, like, having to take 6+ weeks off of the gym. Will I be able to get back into it? And I know I'm gonna spend all 6 weeks or whatever, however long I end up having to take off the gym, freaking out about it. And I know that's gonna happen, and there's just, like, really nothing I can do. Right? There's no way for me not to freak out about it. Okay. Sorry, pause. I have to do my eyeliner, and I cannot do that while talking. All right, back with a very modest wing. Where were we? What were we talking about? Yes, the mental strain of trying to recover. And again, it's just one of those things you have to do. I can't like cheat my way out of feeling it. And just like with the VSG, you know, to a certain extent, there is only so much you can prepare for, right? I know that I just told you, I know that this is going to be a difficulty for me. And yet, you know, it's not like I can tell myself as much as I want to that it's just going to be, that I'll be able to go back, you know, I'll be able to get back into it. It's part of my life. I'll be able to regain that, that ability. But I know that I'm still gonna be terrified of it until I unequivocally see that it turned out fine, you know? Until I'm on the other side, you know, it's just gonna be a constant worry. And I don't think there's any way around that. You know, no matter how much I want it not to be. So yeah, I'm dealing with the fears, you guys. And it still feels very surreal to me that we're almost there, you know, after 2+ years of knowing I wanted this, after 5 months of having it scheduled and knowing that it is actually going to happen. And then to finally kind of like be on the guess like the eve of it. It's weird. I mean, it's not quite the eve, right? But we're getting really close, and who knows when this video will go up? Maybe, probably before plastics, I would imagine. That would make sense if I can get it edited in time. But yeah, like I said, it feels to a certain extent like there's only so many people I can talk to about this, because only so many people will kind of get it. And even though, you know, some of you guys have had weight loss surgery, most of you guys have or are looking into it, so you can understand that. I know a lot of you are wanting to get plastics at some point, and so either, you know, maybe you've already had it. Some of you might directly know, or maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe it's scheduled. But I think even if you haven't had it, you can kind of relate to the just the fear of changing, and this, it's just another huge massive step, right? Just, it's so big, it's so massive to think about. You know, and I already changed my life before. I've changed my life in the past 2 years. I know I can do it. I'm so thankful for my decision to have weight loss surgery. For me, there's no doubt that it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. But it irrevocably changed my life. And so to wonder what it'll be like when I go on to this like next part of my journey. And I'm excited, so excited. I am ready, you know, like I think these fears I am experiencing are all part of the process. By no means am I not wanting to go through with it. And I'm excited to share it with you guys. So, yeah, I kind of think, oh, I need to highlight my brow bone. Who even am I? But I think that's kind of everything I wanted to talk about. I'm so thankful for all of you here. Thank you so much for your support, for your enthusiasm. Like I said, I am very excited to share this next part with all of you guys. And yeah, fucking plastics, man. All right. I just have my lips left to do, so I think I'm just going to do those off screen because I have to line them, etc. Though I am excited. I'm trying out a new lip liner. I'll put it down below, but I think I haven't done an intro yet for this video, so I think I'll do it with my full face, so you'll be able to see everything. You will have already seen everything at the beginning of this video. But thank you so much for watching. I know that this is going to be a long one because I talked for a lot longer than I expected. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you found it interesting. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.